Hey everybody, it's good to be here and talk with you a little bit today and have Joel Jensen to share some of his expertise with us. Today I want to talk a little bit about mileage deduction, car deductions. I can't tell you how many friends I have. They start a business, they get a business going, and they think this is great. I have a free car now. And
free car.
Not quite the right way to look at it.
Doesn't
right?
quite work that way, but I will say that this is my absolute favorite topic.
Well, shed some insight.
Yeah,
for
I
us.
love cars. We got to put that as a baseline. So I'm always looking at different ways I can kind of take advantage of the tax code in relation to my cars. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone knows that there's really two basic ways of deducting my auto travel, right? So I have the mileage method and I have the actual method. And they kind of work basically like they sound. So on the mileage method, I'm looking at my business use. So if I drive my automobile, 5,000 miles of 10,000 miles total for business, right? I'm looking at 50% of my actual deductions.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm looking at gas, repairs, maintenance, tires, car washes, the smelly stuff you put in cars, all of it that goes into my automobile. So I'm looking at 50% of those costs. That becomes my deduction. On the mileage side, I take that same 5,000 miles of business that I drove, and I'm timesing that by the IRS mileage rate to get my deduction. So people will often say, which one's better? And in common tax vernacular, I will say, it depends. Depends on what kind of car you drive.
My favorite answer you get.
I know. It always depends. What kind of car do you drive? What do you do? Do you drive a big Ford F-350 with 6 inches of lift that gets 7 miles to the gallon and you're using it primarily for business? Well, actual may be a better method for you to use. Am I driving a Toyota Prius, for example, that gets 50 miles to the gallon, never breaks down, very little as far as a cost of driving that car? Well, mileage may work better. So what I will say is oftentimes mileage is working better in most cases. There has to be a case typically to use actual, but the best rule of thumb is to take all of your expenses plus your mileage plus the type of car that you drive, sit down with someone like me and let me compute it out. That will go and give you the best deduction on your tax return.
Yeah, and I love that. I think that's such a critical point just in all of this as we come together and we talk about taxes is so often there isn't a right and a wrong.
No, there's not. It's not a right or wrong. It's like it's always depending on my situation. What am I doing with this car and how am I using it? Now sit down and let's go through what is the best way to take advantage of the tax code in relation to that car.
And I think the important thing to understand is once you have an expert like Joel look at that, then it becomes really apparent what is right or wrong and real easy to make sure that you make the right deduction and you take the maximum deduction allowed, which at the end of the day is what we're all after.
Exactly.
We know it's important for you to keep your business running smoothly. Here at Tax Hive, we stand ready to help with all of your tax and business needs so that you can focus in on what it is that you do best, and that's running your business. We have an entire team of experts who stand ready to help you out. Schedule a strategy session with one of our specialists today.